Get ready to dive in headfirst into the world of theme park fun with In the Parks. We're your first stop for the latest news, reviews, and insider secrets. From roller coasters to cotton candy, we've got all the thrills and spills you're craving. Don't miss a moment of the action. So strap in and hold on tight as we take you in the parks.
I'm Josh.
I'm Jerry.
And welcome to In the Parks podcast. Thank you for joining us on our first episode. I'm going to throw it over to Jerry, and he's going to give us a little intro about himself.
Hey, everyone. As Josh kind of mentioned, before kind of leading up to this, we'll be diving into many topics, including around all theme parks. But most additionally, how did I get into this? What is my love for theme parks? It's really kind of a two-part question, I guess. My love for theme parks and my love for Disney theme parks. For me, it's two kind of different stories. But my love for theme parks, where did that start? I had said this before. I was a little bit of a late bloomer, coming into the theme parks. And of course, I've kind of talked a little as I was younger. But my love of wanting to explore new theme parks, go on the big rides, didn't really, come to life till about maybe I was 23 years old. I want to say maybe 22. I don't know the exact age, but I was on a trip with my cousin. We went down to New Jersey. We were there for a concert. We had made the last decision that, hey, let's go to Six Flags, Great Adventure in New Jersey. And we're like, yeah, great idea. Anyone who's familiar with Six Flags, they got the roller coaster there, Kingda Ka, which is one of the tallest roller coasters in the country, one of the fastest too. And that was going to be the main goal for the day, to get on that one. And kind of leading up to that, I don't know if anybody really realizes, Six Flags had built another ride on top of that ride. So there's like a drop tower that is in the middle of, the hat that,
the free fall,
from the roller coaster. Yeah, exactly. And anyone who knows me, kind of leading up to that point, those kind of rides are not me. Like, don't put me down for those. Not my fan. Okay. So, we went in, we had a goal. We wanted to get on the biggest roller coaster. So we thought we had jumped in the line. Midway through, I'm going to say about an hour in, and I'm starting to kind of second guess at the line we're in. I'm like, I don't think we are in the correct line. And my cousin's like, no, we are. I was like, are you sure? I'm like, this does not feel like the correct line. She goes, no, I swear, this is the right line. So we're going and going and going. Another hour passes, and we're finally getting closer to the front. And I'm like, I'm telling you, I do not think this is the right line. And she was starting to kind of second guessing at that point too. And then we finally kind of made it all up till it was clear, where it was like, yeah, this is not the right line. And my cousin was like, well, we've made it this far. We're going to do it. And I was like, what do you mean by we? I was like, I don't do these kind of rides. And she's like, you literally just waited in line for 2.5 hours. You're doing it. And so finally I got on it. It went up 465 feet, got to the top of that thing. I'm like, whoa, what am I doing here? My cousin decides that she wants to start a countdown of when it was going to drop. So she starts off at 5, and I look at her, I'm like, you better be right with when it hits 1, because I swear. But luckily she was spot on. As soon as she hits 1, the thing just lets go, and you start free falling. I was like, I think it's just around 100 miles an hour. And when we got to the bottom, I just look over and say, that was awesome. And
so
ever since that moment,
with baptism by fire, basically.
Pretty much, I went straight for the biggest thing. Might as well go big or go home, I guess, right? But ever since that point, though, never turn back. Love all rides. I will tackle anything that comes my way at this point.
If you can tackle that, you can tackle anything.
No, exactly. And so that was kind of my spiel on where I kind of came about loving rides, loving theme parks. Of course, more than rides comes the food. I'm a big foodie person as well, so you'll always find me eating something around the parks.
You and me both.
And into that nature. But what about you, Josh? What kind of got you into it all?
I mean, I've been going to theme parks since I was just a baby. I think I just turned 1 year old when I went to Islands of Adventure when it first opened. So
wow.
You could say that I've had years of experience in the theme parks. But I want to say my love truly came to fruition when I was in middle school. And we flew down from New England. We took I think it was like a week. It was like a week to 10 days. So we did a bunch of days in Disney, did a bunch of days in Universal.
Oh, nice.
That whole trip, I just remember experiencing everything that I could. It was in the days of paper fast pass, so it wasn't like I had to constantly look at your phone every
Good old
5 minutes. So you actually got to experience what the parks meant. So
Sure.
for me, that truly holds a special place in my heart. Um, I definitely wouldn't trade it for anything. And to this day, I go to the parks weekly if I can.
No, that's awesome. And, kind of thing I didn't really even mention either. I think, when it comes to theme parks, there's just more to rides and food. I love the people watch.
Yep.
Love the theming, love the people watch. I can go on a ride 1,000 times, but I love seeing people coming off the ride who've their first time going
especially
on it.
Guardians of the Galaxy. When you see those people first come off that
ride. Exactly. That's just part of the joy.
Grins on their faces. It's really great to see.
No, absolutely. And I think, anyone can, agree, you can go to a park and everybody has a different experience and everybody enjoys it differently. So, just because I like it one way doesn't mean somebody will like it that way. Exactly. I think exactly. And, I love going to them. I'll never stop going to them. As soon as I enter a park, I'm going to kick it again.
Child comes out. I totally agree with that. Speaking of inner child, Universal recently and the lands of Epic Universe.
They sure did.
How are we feeling about that?
I don't even know how to describe it. I'm more than excited for this. I think this is going to change the landscaping for theme parks.
I agree. I think it's going to be a game changer.
Universal's onto something.
Industry. Yep. Yeah,
I think
I very much agree.
No, absolutely. And you and I have kind of talked about this on the side before, kind of, rolling into this, how we were always going to say that we were going to be truthful and how we kind of present things on the show here. And the one thing I think Universal is going to one up on everybody is the innovationness of this, which Disney is lacking at the moment. And
I have to agree.
This is going to change the game. They're going to set the new expectations for theme parks. Is the best way to put it.
And I don't even think it's just Disney that has to respond. I think that even your smaller theme parks across the entire country and even the world are going to have to respond. There's lots of innovation going into Epic Universe that's going to truly be a game changer.
What I was saying is I think one good thing that Universal is going to do is, one, change their landscape of how families vacation with them. I think with Epic Universe, it's going to tackle a little bit of everything for everybody. It's going to be a thrill place, but it's also going to be a family-oriented place, which I think is what Universal's lacking at the moment. Is something for families, to be able to do together.
Definitely. I definitely think it's going to change the landscape for Universal in itself by making it a week-long destination, just like Disney is. I mean, there's no way you're going to be able to get through that entire park in one day. No,
for sure not. And I think adding that third park. I mean, of course, they got their water park, of course, too. But I think adding that third one is, like you said, I think it's going to be a week-long destination. Because kind of right now, you could probably get through both parks in 3 days max. Is probably a good number to put
3
on
days
there. But
1 day in each park.
Coming. Exactly. Yeah, and I'm just very excited for it. And
do you have a favorite land that was announced?
Oh. Let's see. Tough, because I'm a fan of a lot of everything that's going to be coming to there, especially Harry Potter. I'm a big Harry Potter person. Me and my family are huge Harry Potter fans. Nintendo. Growing up playing Nintendo, Super Smash Bros.
It's going to be like the kid side. No, man.
I cannot wait for that. And I'm disappointed myself because I haven't been out to Disneyland yet to see, not Disneyland, I should say, but out to California to go see the new Nintendo Land and Universal out that way. But
I mean, ours is supposed to be bigger, though.
Epic Universe is exactly. It's going to blow the top off, I think. And it's hard to pinpoint exactly one place I'm excited for. I think ideally, too, with the excitement of the parks, I'm really excited about the food options that are coming, the new restaurants. There's really gonna be so much to need to check out. How about you? What are you most excited about? What are you looking forward to?
Out of the themed lands, I really am excited for Celestial Park. Not just because of the theming, but the sheer size of it. I could spend hours walking around the park, just taking in all the sights. See, if just looking at the concept art, there's just so much to it. It's not just a bridge to the other lands. It really is its own land in and of itself. that I really am excited to see that come to fruition.
No, absolutely. I think it's it's gonna be a day one when it opens. It's gonna be a tough call where I want to go first.
Yeah, wherever the people aren't.
Yeah, you're all going that way. I'm going this way.
Whichever has the lowest weight, you'll find me there. I I really do believe that it's just going to be something that I'm not going to want to leave at the end of the day, which is perfect because they do have that hotel that they're building inside the park.
No, exactly. Yeah, it's gonna be a nice location for it.
I'm very excited. I really I'm at a loss of words just talking about it because of how excited I am about it. It really is.
No, absolutely. And I think, yeah, no, absolutely. And I think Universal's doing, the right of how they're rolling it out too. The one thing I've been kind of saying is I feel a lot of folks are under appreciating what's coming. And I feel like the hype hasn't really been there, to be quite honest. I mean, of course, with the recent weeks with them, announcing everything, confirming all the lands, giving us a little sneak peek of everything, it's definitely has brought the hype up a bit. But I just feel like, theme park lovers, and I just feel like it hasn't been there since they've announced it. I just feel like do people not realize it's a new park is coming? And it's not just going to be a new park; it's going to change. The experience.
And I do appreciate the way they're revealing it. It would be nice to have everything all at once, but I like being able to soak in the information, dive into the announcements, and being able to actually see what's coming. Because when theme parks announce the new things all at once, it really does. Some things really tend to get lost in everything. So it really is great to have that opportunity to actually take it in for once.
No, absolutely. And I hope this is also an opportunity for Disney to finally respond with something, because over the recent,
nice to see those blue sky
4 or 5 years. No, exactly. All we've gotten is a upgrade on Splash Mountain. We've retheming over. We've gotten Country Bears being rethemed, and that's all we've gotten. Where Universal's like, here's a new park.
Yep. I mean, Universal built an entire theme park in 5 years, and it took Disney almost 5 years to build Tron. So, I mean, at some point, something's got to give.
No, exactly. It took them 5 years to build Tron that already existed in Shanghai.
I mean, it really is crazy to me how one theme park is listening to their guests and one is kind of just going their own route right now. So I am very grateful that Universal decided to listen.
Absolutely, and I guess I would kind of say I think I don't really have much doubts coming with the Epic Universe. I mean, my expectations are set pretty high, and I think they're really going to overachieve my expectations, which are already set pretty high for it. My only concern is because I know they're going to be they're using the whole portal concept, which I think is really, really, really cool.
Yeah,
I just hope they have multiple access points to the worlds.
I would be very surprised if they didn't, just because of a crowd control stance. I think that having it all bottleneck in one area is going to be tough.
Yes, because I
definitely agree with you.
Not trying to switch back and forth between parks, but that is my biggest blemish with Hollywood Studios and Toy Story Land is how small they made and how congested it is. And if you can just tell by my social media handle, it's a Buzz Life. It's Toy Story is my thing, and I just feel like they kind of hit the mark. I should say missed the mark with that, because I just feel like it's an overshadow land because of the space and how busy it gets there. And I think it takes a lot away from people wanting to go there. I just hope that's not what Universal's doing with their worlds.
I have to agree, because Toy Story Land can get crazy on a busy day. If it's in the middle of summer and you have all the schools out, it is really hard to walk through that park.
No, absolutely.
I definitely
there are times where I avoid it. Is there anything that you're kind of worried about with Epic Universe? Like, is there anything that you hope that they don't get wrong, or what are your thoughts?
So I am really excited about How to Train Your Dragon, Isle of Berk. But something that concerns me is the two rides. I don't know if you saw the aerial footage of your classic carnival ride that they have with the spinning arm.
Oh yeah,
You saw
yep.
that? Yeah. My concern is
Yep.
the wait times on that ride. It's gonna. I feel like it doesn't have the capacity to really. It's not an efficient capacity, I should say. I mean, there are two of them, but it's still
Sure.
it's going to take a long time to load and unload. So I think my only concern is going to be the wait times. So I really do hope that they sort of implement a system, like even like in the first couple of months, if it's a reservation based system to get into the park, just to crowd control a bit, just so that everyone can actually experience the park.
Sure. Which I
Will
imagine
you
that's what they're
use it?
probably that's what they're
Yeah.
gonna do.
I would be very surprised if they didn't implement a reservation system specifically for Epic Universe. I don't think we have to worry about that for the other two parks, but Epic Universe is definitely going to need some sort of almost like a lottery in the beginning because everybody's going to want to go visit.
No, I definitely agree. I hope it's not the lottery because lottery odds are never on my favor.
I mean, I hope that we get some sort of preview too, whether it's a pass holder preview,
Yes.
influencer, creator preview.
Sure,
It would be great to get in there a little bit early too, to showcase it.
No, absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
Universal, if
No,
you're listening,
I hope
get
that's
your
the
boy up.
case. What's your opinion? When do you think it's going to officially open? Because I know they've been kind of like giving hints at it, but like they don't have a definite date. But when do you think?
Based off of the aerial footage that I see every now and then, it really looks like it's ahead of schedule to me. But I still think
Yes.
they're going to want to stick to their timeline of summer or late 2025, just so that they can, when it's done, they can perfect it. They can iron out any of the kinks that is going on. I just think that they're going to want to take that time to perfect it. They're not going to want to release a product that they've been hyping up. And if it's not perfect, everyone's going to be mad. So I really open when they said it's going to open.
No, absolutely. I think the earliest that we may see people to be able to get inside there, I think maybe spring with like previews and things like that. Maybe for like, from the team members, family, things like that. Maybe even like media, things like that. But I would probably think summertime would be my guess as tour season's picking up because I think that'd be a good opportunity to kind of, make up for lost time essentially.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't see it any earlier than spring 25. Now, we're talking all this shop about Epic Universe and what our favorite things are there, but now I need to know what your favorite rides or attractions or anything like that. What is your top 5 theme park attractions?
All right.
Across the country.
On the spot. I love it. Yes. All right. This is a tough list, This doesn't just go off of like roller coasters. This goes off of, dark rides. This goes off of anything, correct?
Yep. Anything.
Excellent. Okay, perfect. So for me, I think I have a couple ties leading up into my top 5. I have a tie for number 1. Number 1 for me goes to Pirates of the Caribbean, Magic Kingdom / Disneyland. Disneyland's a little bit longer, which is awesome. Love everything about that ride. Theming's unreal. Love the smells. Love the movie aspect of it. Love Pirates. It's just an all around great ride. Tie for number 1 goes back to Universal with Velocicoaster currently. Velocicoaster, I think right now is my top favorite roller coaster in the country. There are a bunch of other rides that I still need to get on throughout the country that everyone talks highly of, but that will be for later on down the road. Number 2 for me, there's another tie. Number 2 is a mixture between Rise of the Resistance and Flight of Passage at Animal Kingdom. I think those two are the most immersive rides that you'll ever go on.
Yeah,
in my personal
I have to
opinion.
Agree.
I don't think you could ever top those for immersiveness. Honestly, it can't even. It's hard to describe it to folks. I always tell them you just have to go experience it. Like I can explain it to you, but you need to go experience it yourself.
Words don't do it justice.
That's the only way to really do it. Exactly. But comes the wait times. I some of those crazy wait times you'll see sometimes 5 hours for a Flight of Passage. I'm like, it's a good ride, but don't put me down for 5 hours.
I agree. I highly recommend the Lightning Lane for it.
Sure. And number 3, another tie. Everyone will be like, "Why do you have so many ties? You should just own a top 10." It's hard when it comes to like rides. For me, it's very, very hard. Number 3, I have to go with Tower of Terror. Again, another well-themed ride. Great thrill ride. Honestly, I think they did such a great job with that ride, for especially how long it's been around for.
Yeah,
Kind of sad that when Disneyland's gone, but I think they did a good job with,
yeah.
what they
They
made it
definitely did a
into,
good. They
essentially,
definitely did
with
a
the
good
Avengers
job.
campus.
Yeah, not just making it into a like the
No,
same ride
exactly.
with a cover on it. They really did a good job, kind of making it its own unique ride. I agree.
Exactly. Exactly. Like, for what it is, I definitely see people's opinion where like they miss Tower Terra. Like I
Yeah.
completely get it, because I went on Tower Terra tour in Disneyland, many
Mhm.
years back, but I still think the one in Hollywood Studios in Florida is still the best out of both of them if I had to choose one.
Mhm.
Um, but number that was number 3 for me, correct? Yes. So number 3, Tower
I
of
believe
Terror.
so.
So tied for number 3, I have to go with Hagrid's Motorbike in
Okay.
Universal. Honestly, it was very hard because I think this one could have made higher up on my list. Another well-themed ride. Many surprises throughout the ride too.
Hmm.
That it's again hard to explain. I don't want to root for anybody. You know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
Um,
That
Unreal ride. They did
I
such a
do.
good job with that ride. I can go on
It,
100 times in a row and still feel so happy coming off of it.
it really is a joyful ride. I'm very happy with the way that turned out.
Number 4, I have to go with the that my recent story from the beginning, that drop ride at Six Flags Adventure in New Jersey. Um, Again, unreal ride. It's an experience. They've changed a little bit over the years since the last time I went on. I think it's actually a VR ride now, if I'm not mistaken. So it's the
Okay,
same concept, but you're now wearing VR goggles, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm
that's
sure
pretty
it's even
cool.
more thrilling now too. So I'm
Yeah.
probably have to get back up there to check that out. But that definitely is under a ride. I do recommend it to anybody. And number 5 is more of a sentimental for me. Back in October, my wife and I, we took our first trip with our son. He was 6 months at the time, and his first ride ever was Frozen Ever After in Epcot. Honestly, not a bad dark ride. I think they did a really good job with it. But just more of a sense of knowing that's his first ride. He loved Olaf, smiled the whole time that we were
I
going
love
through
it.
it, and just a moment that I'll never forget. And again, love for the theme parks, and
Well,
you
it's
know,
all about
other
making
than just
memories at the
food and
theme
rides
parks.
and
So
seeing the
if you made a
happiness
memory on
that comes.
something,
Exactly. And honestly, that could probably be my number 1. Should be my number 1, of course. But that's my top 5. What about you? What is your
yeah.
top 5 rides of all time?
Oh, putting me on the spot now. So I my number one currently is Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind in Epcot. Um,
How do I forget that? I've always. I don't know how I forget that ride. That is. Oh, that's such a good ride. Such a good ride.
it, it's just for me. I didn't know what to expect when I went into it the first time. I really wasn't expecting at all the twists, the turns, the special surprise in the beginning. I don't want to ruin it
Sure.
for those that haven't ridden it yet, but like it, they truly did an amazing job theming it, especially with the different options of songs you can get. Each song completely changes the ride. It's just a whole. Each song gives it its different vibe. So every time you go on it, you can ride 6 different rides because there's 6 different songs. So if you have not ridden Cosmic
Absolutely.
Rewind, I highly suggest you make it to Epcot.
Absolutely. And it kind of has, like you just said, like different experiences every time. It's kind of like Rock and Roller Coaster with the different music, which is I
Yep.
really love what they do with Rock and Roller Coaster. But Guardians of the Galaxy, top notch. I don't even know how that did not make my list. I shame on myself.
Hey, it's okay. You can add it to the next step when we do another ranking. You can update. uh, number 2 for me is Hagrid's. Um, short of playing on the same thing you said, it really is. It's full of surprises. It's a very joyful ride. The theming is immaculate. I couldn't think of a better way to theme that. So yeah, if you haven't ridden it, it takes the words out of your mouth. From the launches to the special surprises they have
Absolutely.
somewhere else in the ride. Again, I don't want to spoil it for those that haven't ridden it, um, but it truly is an amazing ride that I cannot recommend enough. Uh, Number 3 for me is Flight of Passage. It's just so immersive. In Avatar, I mean, it's one of my favorite film franchises. So that whole entire land
Sure.
in Animal Kingdom is amazing to me. I could spend hours just taking all in all the theming and everything, but Flight of Passage really does take the cake for one of the top rides for me. And then number 4 is also in Animal Kingdom, and that's Expedition Everest. I mean, you really can't go wrong there. From the terrifying lift hill, I mean, I'm telling you, every time I go up that hill, it's just like it's like a pit in your stomach feeling until you get. It's like, whoa! It really, they really did an amazing job making it feel like you were actually climbing up the mountain. I do wish the Yeti still
No,
worked,
absolutely.
But
yeah, I know. Long live the Yeti.
It's definitely a must do for me every trip. And now number 5 for me, and I'm going to take it to some place that our listeners probably don't know about, is it's at a theme park called Canopy Lake Park, which is in Salem, New Hampshire, and it's called the Boston Tea Party. It's a water ride, but it's a splash ride that you actually get soaked on. It's not like a log flume where you get like a drop of water on you. So if you go there and you ride it, make sure you bring up a change of clothes, probably some shoes, new socks. You're gonna need it.
Good old Canby Lake. You can't go to Canby Lake without riding the old corkscrew and breaking your neck each time you go to the park.
It's like, I know, man. It's like you're gonna need to go to a chiropractor after you ride some of those rides. But it really, I mean, we're all about we're not just gonna focus on Disney, Universal. We truly are focused on bringing you all the parks across America. As we experience them, we're going to try new things, which leads me to my next question for you, Jerry. In the country, what theme park that you haven't been to do you want to go to?
Great question. There is so many that are on my list, honestly. I think right now, what has taken the number 1 spot, I think, will be my next destination I go to if I'm experiencing a new place. Has to be Dollywood. Dollywood looks amazing.
That's on my list.
My wife and I, we were, over the past fall, with the Halloween time, we were watching tons of videos and seeing a bunch of, influencers kind of going there for their festivities and just kind of showing more about Dollywood. And I grew even further on my list. The place looks like it has so much good food, so many good rides, such a good time. It's a must see for me.
So, that's just a reason to go alone. I mean, that whole area in Tennessee, it really is somewhere I want to visit.
No, absolutely. And that's the number 1 spot. I think, man, there's just so many that I want to experience. I think Cedar Point too at some point. Gotta tackle that place. But those are my top 2 at least. How about you? What are your top 2?
Well, we actually share the same top 2. I want to go to Cedar Point and I want to go to Dollywood. Those are the next 2 that I really want to get to. So we're gonna have to plan in the parks trip, Jerry.
Spoiler alert.
Man, it's just theme parks that really do capture that theme park aspect where it's all about the rides and the fair food. Those are the type of things I want to experience. So going to Dollywood, going to Cedar Point is really high on my list.
No, absolutely. And the one thing I always say about like theme park goers and Disney and Universal always have a special place in my heart, of course, but there's a lot more to experience and other parks have so much to offer. I always hold parks accountable, and I always put Disney and Universal on these high pedestals and kind of compare things to them, of course, but there are some things that parks can do that they can't, and vice versa. And that's why I always recommend, hey, get out there, go experience it, because there's more out there, honestly. And I'm not knocking Disney, I'm not knocking Universal, but there's so much out there.
I agree. I mean, there's so much out there between Cedar Point, Dollywood, Six Flags. I mean, there's a Six Flags almost everywhere. I'm sure if you looked in your backyard, there's going to be a Six Flags there. I mean, you have Hershey Park. I mean, there's so many different options that you can experience. So if you've only been to Disney, you've only been to Universal.
Hershey Park. Yeah, I was going to say Hershey Park, I got to say, is probably my number 3. I must say I want to get there too. Yeah, I've heard so many good things about Hershey Park. I've known a bunch of people who've gone there many times, and they love it. Honestly, they go back
I
many,
get
many, many
jealous every
times.
time I
So,
see influencers going there. So it's definitely, if I had to pick a third one, I think we're gonna have to figure out a way to get out there and do some things, some content creation for this thing.
absolutely.
But I truly am excited to see where we can take this. The in the parks, the brand, the podcast. I really do think that we have something going here, and I'm really thankful for all those that have tuned in for our first episode. It truly means a lot to both of us. I mean, we're not just going to sugarcoat everything. We truly are the podcast that's going to give you honest, no nonsense talk about theme parks. If a theme park does something we don't like, we're going to let you know. So if you don't have a thick skin
Absolutely.
and you get offended easily when someone says something bad about a theme park, you may not like us, but that's okay. We can't please everybody.
Still listen though.
Yeah, still listen though. Yeah, please. I mean, we're going to be on Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. You can find us on YouTube, and you can follow us on Instagram at @intheparks_pod. And you can follow me at Josh in the Parks, and you can follow Jerry.
You can follow me at It's a Buzz Life on Instagram and TikTok, YouTube. But one thing I want to say too, Josh, is thank you for giving me the opportunity to come along with you. Josh is the founder of this idea, I should say. He had posted it on Instagram, and I kind of reached out to him like, "Hey, let me know if you need anybody." And he was like, "Sold, you're in." I was like,
Yeah, welcome aboard.
"Okay, let's do this." And super excited to be on board. Can't wait to see where we can kind of go with this. First and foremost, this being the first episode, and just want to apologize if there's any kind of glitches, text issues, or anything like that. We're just still trying to iron out the back end things here. So, if you see any awkward pauses or anything like that, please, it's not that because we're awkward. It's just because we're trying to figure things out on our end over here. But no, please subscribe, please like, please follow along. This is just the beginning, and we are going to take this as far as we can.
And if you have any topics that you want us to cover, please let us know in the comments. We're happy to take submissions. We're all about pleasing the people.
Yes. Absolutely, yes.
From both of us, I just want to say thank you for heading into the parks with us, and until next time.